President Biden said Friday that he would visit the site of the Baltimore bridge collapse because, like that bridge, Biden is no longer connecting with black communities.
Yes, Saturday Night Live. I've got some Saturday Night Live coming up in this hour, as a matter of fact, because they had, I guess, is he a jihadi? They had a jihadi comedian on who was doing funny jokes about the war and all this stuff, but no cannibalism. Yeah, this cannibal in California. The news media doesn't care if he's an illegal alien because, the news media are Democrats. And illegal alien cannibals on the streets of California, just part of the process. The fundamental transformation of America. Now, the guy does have a criminal record that goes back years and years. He's been arrested again and again in California, but nobody saw this coming. And really going for the raw meat like that, steak tartare is served with a raw egg yolk on it, right? And this poor fella, Rosendo Tellez, he lacked that egg yolk, which is just shows how cruel and racist America is, doesn't it? Why couldn't Tellez just get a raw egg yolk? And back to cannibalism. I guess we never left. I told you last week about a YouTube. We call people YouTube stars now because you post videos on YouTube, and that's enough to make you a star. I'm making quotation marks with my fingers. A YouTube star. You posted a video on YouTube, so you're a star. There's Clark Gable and Paul Newman, and then you because you posted a video on YouTube. But never mind that. This YouTuber, we'll say, who goes by Your Fellow Arab, or just for shorthand, Arab. He went, I think a couple of weeks ago now, to Haiti, where there are cannibals in charge. And Joe Biden wants to open our borders to all the Haitians that want to flee because we need more cannibalism in the United States. That'll teach us. They're knocking us down a few notches. The left, they want to, oh, yeah, America, you think you guys are so great. You don't even have cannibalism. We'll fix that. We'll import cannibals from Cannibal Island. And barbecue and the cannibals, they run the place. Now, they're gangs, and the head of the biggest gang, the most powerful gang in Haiti, that's taken over the city buildings in Port-au-Prince, which is the New York City of Haiti. And as the mayor of New York said, New York City is the Port-au-Prince of New York because they're making everything better. See? Honestly, this is going to be like a science fiction movie, the whole country, after not too long. But in any case, your fellow Arab, a.k.a. Arab, on X, who is a YouTuber on YouTube. He goes places and makes videos and he posts them. And also I should say that Jeff Wolf, talking about the cannibal in California, said, well, you can't say he's not a people person. He's definitely and he is a people person. He wants, he's tenderizing the leg by bashing it against the brick wall there. That's tenderizing. Couldn't find a raw egg yolk to put on it, so just started gnawing on it, chewing on it. And the construction workers freaked out, but they made videos with their phones, which makes it more fun, I think. And it's people tartare. Human tartare. Amazing stuff. But back to your fellow Arab who went to Haiti. He was kidnapped by barbecue, which is not good. Now, your fellow Arab is he self-describes as an Arab, so I'll assume that he is. But if you look at pictures of him, he's quite light-skinned. He's about the pallor, my pallor, I would say approximately. And he, at least, after a good vacation. Me after a good vacation. But he posted on, happy to announce it looks like he has been released or escaped from the cannibals' custody in Haiti. And barbecue and the cannibals, I don't know if they let him go or if they got paid off or what. Because I think they were demanding $600,000, right? The cannibals were. But your fellow Arab tweets on X, says, I was kidnapped purely for the color of my skin. Wait a minute, you're saying barbecue and the cannibals, in addition to everything else, are racist too? I was kidnapped for being a blanc, in quotation marks, B-L-A-N-C, which would be white, blanc, Sauvignon Blanc, for liberals listening along, white wine. So he was kidnapped for being white, even though he self-describes as Arab, kind of pale. Can't give any more detail till I'm home, he says, but all I will say for now is glory be to God. Released between Good Friday and Easter. Christ is King. When you're kidnapped in the middle of the Haitian desert, 60 minutes away from any civilization, in a concrete shack, surrounded by barbed wire, you don't pray to a rainbow flag. You pray to God. That is the kind of homophobia and anti-gay bigotry that we will not sit still for. What do you mean you don't pray to a rainbow flag? Does that mean you hate the gays? See how that goes? Speaking of that, let's go to Joe Biden and the Democrats, because yesterday was Easter Sunday. The day before yesterday was Holy Saturday. The day before that was Good Friday. And the Democrats are very, very unwell when it comes to all of these matters of Easter and so on. Is it in any particular order? You throw up your hands. Let's see. So we got, Biden. We already played the Biden saying Hugo Chavez is his personal hero, who was not in favor of illegal aliens. But it's yesterday was Hugo Chavez Day at the White House. It was Jesus Christ Day all over the world. But at the White House, it was, not Hugo Chavez, Cesar Chavez. Thanks for catching that and correcting me there. And so let's go to Cesar Chavez Day, and also transgender. It was Transgender Day of Visibility. Now, completely crazy that they made these declarations at the White House in the United States of America. Just amazing. And Democrats attacked the altar at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York yesterday. Right? And the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, he's on the side of the United States of America and Western civilization, unlike Joe Biden and the Democrats. But the Biden administration put out statements declaring Easter Sunday to be Transgender Day of Visibility. Transgender Day of Visibility, right? And here's the statement. They posted President Biden on Twitter. Today, on Transgender Day of Visibility, this is yesterday, Easter Sunday, I have a simple message to all trans Americans. I see you. Is he peeking through their curtains? You are made in the image of God. That's because they think Jesus was dressed in a ball gown. They're mentally unwell. And you're worthy of respect and dignity. And then the big page, the full screen page with giant letters says Transgender Day of Visibility, right? And just amazing. They also put out a brief Easter thing. Jill and I send out our warmest wishes to Christians around the world. They're not among them, but that's okay. Celebrating the power of hope and the promise of Christ's resurrection this Easter Sunday. They seemed more enthusiastic about Transgender Day of Visibility. The Trump campaign put out a counter statement in response to the White House declaring Easter Sunday to be Transgender Day of Visibility. And the Trump campaign, which wishes to make America great again, says, sadly, these are just two more examples of the Biden administration's years-long assault on the Christian faith. We call on Joe Biden's failing campaign and White House to issue an apology. Again, that's because it's Cesar Chavez Day and Transgender Day of Visibility, and barely Easter Sunday to the Biden White House because they're not on the side of Western civilization. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, tweeted, and he actually tweeted this on Saturday, the Biden White House has betrayed the central tenet of Easter, which is the resurrection of Jesus Christ, banning sacred truth and tradition, while at the same time proclaiming Easter Sunday as Transgender Day, it's Transgender Day of Visibility, is outrageous and abhorrent. The American people are taking note. He calls it outrageous and abhorrent. And that's when CNN invited Democrat senator from Georgia, who shouldn't be in the Senate at all, Raphael Warnock, who claims to be a pastor. And he was invited by Dana Bash to attack the Speaker of the House. And, Dana Bash's ex-husband is one of the 51 that signed on to that lying letter from the so-called intelligence officials, of which he was never really one. Senator Raphael Warnock.
Apparently, the Speaker finds trans people abhorrent.
What?
And I think he ought to think about that.
What, Pastor?
The fact of the matter is, as you said, March 31st has been a day to lift up transgender people who endure violence.
And look under their dresses.
And bigotry. Easter, the date changes every single day. But this is just one more instance of folks who do not know how to lead us, trying to divide us. And this is the opposite of the Christian faith.
Says the fake pastor that today, Easter Sunday, is the day to lift up transgender people and peek under their dresses and see what's going on in there. Ding dong, ding dong. And wait a minute, I'm sorry, you're a fake Christian fraud U.S. Senator, charlatan, and you're accusing the Speaker of the House of bigotry when you are engaging in anti-Christian bigotry on Easter Sunday.
Easter, the date changes every single day.
Isn't that amazing? Mm-mm. And then the White House lashed out. Well, let's do it. Marsha Blackburn, Republican senator, who is on the side of Western civilization and Christians everywhere.
I think everyone should be insulted by this, the intentional nature of this. Easter is a religious holiday. It is such a sacred day where we all meet at the cross.
At St. Patrick's Cathedral yesterday, lefties stormed the altar and took over the altar and had to be dragged out of there as they're chanting in favor of Hamas. Now, the White House, when there was some backlash, they have this guy, Andrew Bates. When he was at private school, they called him Master Bates. He was Master Bates. And he is the deputy White House press secretary, White House spokesman. And he responded to people raising an eyebrow at their transgender Easter. As a Christian who celebrates Easter with his family, he doesn't know how many grandchildren he has. He barely knows how many children he has. He's gotten that wrong many times. President Biden stands for bringing people together, with transgender Easter, and upholding the dignity and freedoms of every American, especially Cesar Chavez. Sadly, it's unsurprising politicians are seeking to divide and weaken our country, which is exactly what they're doing right now, of course. It's the old Russian playbook, accuse you of doing whatever they're doing at that moment with cruel, hateful, and dishonest rhetoric. You guys declared Easter to be Transgender Day. It's the highest of Christian holidays. President Biden will never abuse his faith. What faith is that? He's pro-abortion, transgender military, transgender Easter. The Pope should kick him out of the church. Of course, the Pope is another issue altogether. So abuse his faith for political purposes or profit, he says. And then the just unbelievable, the Secretary of State put out a statement praising transgender Easter as well. These people. I've got more for you on this. And then Saturday Night Live with their, the greatest prophet is the Prophet Muhammad on Holy Saturday on Saturday Night Live because they're Democrats and Western civilization is under assault. Civilization itself is under assault. You know, everybody has an IRS story, and, it's not a story that usually ends very well, is it? This is an urgent message. If you still owe the IRS $10,000 or more, the IRS recently announced increased collection activity for 2023 taxes, especially with the tax deadline looming now. It's looming large. That means aggressive policing of taxes, levies, liens against your property, wage garnishments just around the corner if you owe money and if you haven't filed your taxes yet. With former IRS tax attorneys and expert tax professionals, legal tax defense is gearing up for this activity at the IRS to help protect you. So call them today. Don't procrastinate. Call 800-472-0467. Take advantage of tax relief programs like the Fresh Start program. For over 10 years, legal tax defense has helped save taxpayers just like you millions and millions in back taxes and owed taxes. So call now and get qualified for your tax relief options and put an end to tax problems today and the worry of it all. Don't be a victim of the IRS. Call the experts at Legal Tax Defense now. 800-472-0467. That's 800-472-0467. Or go online to LegalTaxDefense.com. Yes, sir. Yeah, so they're attacking people. When somebody says, wait a minute, you're making Easter Transgender Day, they attack you. They're in charge of the government of the United States of America. It's an election year. These people are mental. Hey, it's Chris Plant, excited to tell you about our July 2024 Listener Sea Cruise. We'll be sailing around the British Isles, visiting Scotland and Ireland. Please join us. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com. Our State Department yesterday did nothing about bringing peace to Ukraine. They did nothing yesterday about bringing peace in Israel, where a genocidal army of death cult fanatics are attacking Israel. But they did put out a statement on Transgender Day of Visibility, say it's about equality, inclusion, and full recognition of the human rights of transgender persons, not people, because people is the wrong word. NBC Fake News, which is not a news organization at all, put out a tweet saying Transgender Day of Visibility is dedicated to celebrating trans people and acknowledging the discrimination the community faces. Maybe they should move to another community. How about the 40% attempted suicide rate in the transgender community and the extremely high success rate that they have? How about all the people detransitioning? NBC News spoke to trans people about how their life satisfaction has changed since transitioning. Yeah, it's really, and how about the children? Because they're after and this is what they're doing on Easter Sunday. NBC News, the U.S. State Department, the White House under Joe Biden and the Democrats. I got an idea. Change the date of Visibility Day. Ah, yes. Yeah, yesterday, Transgender Day of Visibility, very big at the State Department, the White House, at NBC News. And it's Easter Sunday if you're a Christian or if you have anything to do with Western civilization. But Democrats, they're not on our side. How many times do I have to say it? So Michael and I were talking about this morning. And we've got the fix. You see. They declared Transgender Day of Visibility, whoever they are, the left, to be what yesterday was Easter Sunday, but, it was March 31st. Easter doesn't always fall on March 31st, but Transgender Day of Democrats dressing like their grandmothers does always fall on the 31st. And so you see the problem. Now, here's the thing about Easter. Easter doesn't always fall on the 31st. It's always on a Sunday. And Easter falls on the first Sunday after the first full moon that comes after the spring equinox. Everybody knows that. Every school child knows that. We have the spring equinox, right? Then the first full moon that comes after that. You start the clock, and Easter Sunday is the first Sunday after the first full moon that arrives after the spring equinox, you see, because it is it's the way the calendar works. And figured that out. Now, the left, who dressed like their grandmother and has a 40% attempted suicide rate and a lot of mental illness issues and all kinds of issues, they said, well, we'll make it the 31st, and then every now and then it will fall on Easter Sunday, but we don't care because don't you know who we are? So March 31st it is. Now, here's my fix, because there's no reason it should be on March 31st. They don't care about the full moon or the spring equinox or whether it's Sunday or not, because, it's the date, March 31st, and every year, it's a different day of the week next year and the year after and so on, right? But Easter is always Sunday. Now, here's the thing. I say we make Transgender Day of Visibility June 19th. I say we make it June 19th. Because what's June 19th? That's nothing to anybody, right? Let's just choose June 19th, and we'll call that Transgender Day of Visibility. And every year, it'll be next door to Democrats or Cannibals Day, maybe, because more and more of that going on, too. But June 19th, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, that's Juneteenth. That's Juneteenth. That's a federal holiday having to do with when the last Republicans got to the last slaves and informed them that the Democrats no longer owned them because the Democrat Party was the party of slavery and the Confederate States of America and everything else. So let's say June 19th is now Transgender Day of Remembrance. And let's see how that goes over. Now, here's the crazy thing. The next time that Transgender Day of Remembrance, that is to say March 31st, falls on Easter Sunday, is going to be decades from now, in 2086. Now, that's pretty crazy. It's 2024. The next time Transgender Day of Remembrance, March 31st, falls on Easter Sunday, is 2086. So let's just move it now and make it June 19th. Or we can simplify matters, because you racists want to put it on June 19th, which is Juneteenth, you racists. Let's instead just move it from March 31st, one day forward, to April 1st. That's a date that doesn't have any significance in the United States. Oh, wait, it's April Fool's Day. So this is getting complicated. So, but you're saying that transgender people are April Fools, that they're fools? Well, who am I to judge anyone? But let's make it May 1st. Let's make it May 1st, because that's coming up next month. And the left comes out and they celebrate communism on May 1st. They're violent. They're radical. They're criminals. They like violence on May Day.
Get hurt. We don't want to hurt anybody. We don't want to get hurt.
It sounds just like they don't want to hurt anybody and they don't want to get hurt.
We don't want to hurt anybody.
That's why they murdered 100 million people since 1917. The Bolshevik Revolution, St. Petersburg, all that stuff. So, but they wanted on this particular day of March 31st, which is occasionally Easter Sunday, and even more frequently will be during Holy Week, and that's doubtless why they chose it, because they're the party of the after-school Satan clubs, and they're not on the side of Western civilization. Aren't they amazing? That's right. Easter Sunday falls on the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the spring equinox, and somehow the Democrats found a way to make it a rotating, revolving, lubricated, transgender visibility day. And again, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was in Tennessee, they had Transgender Day of Vengeance, because they're not crazy or anything. And that was right after the anniversary of the transgender woman pretending to be a man murdered 6 people at a Christian school in Nashville, right? And the Democrats in Tennessee, they said, yeah, let's have Transgender Day of Vengeance. And it'll fall the same week as the anniversary of a Democrat transgender that murdered 3 children and 3 adults at a Christian school in Tennessee. The Democrat Party is sick in the head. I mean, honestly, after school Satan Club, Barack Obama, what's worse? Transgender Day of Vengeance to commemorate a massacre of children and adults at a Christian school by a transgender lunatic that had to be gunned down by the police to stop the lunatic from murdering everybody. And then Easter Sunday is Transgender Day of Let's Go Stand Over Here. And religious-themed designs on Easter eggs at the White House Easter egg roll are banned. While at Cesar Chavez Day, these people are sick in the head. Man. And we've got more from Joe Biden. He's at the Easter egg roll today. And they're not well. Joe Biden at the Easter egg roll today. And what did he do? He screwed up. Well, listen to Joe Biden trying to open up the festivities at the White House for the Easter egg roll.
Thanks, everybody. And by the way, say hello to Oyster bunnies. Come on up, bunnies. Get up here so they can see you.
Our Oyster bunnies.
Come on, get in there. Pretty big bunny, huh?
Pretty big bunny. Boy. He literally called them the Oyster bunnies. The Oyster bunnies. Which is perfectly normal for him. Just amazing. And then he sat down with his pal Al Roker. You may recall Al Roker. He had that lap band surgery. He went to the White House. He had an accident, and he expelled solid waste into his pants. He told the story on NBC News one time, and then he took off his soiled undies and stuffed them in a garbage can at the White House and didn't tell anybody and sneaked out of the place, leaving it for the White House staff. I was pretty demented.
I pooped my pants.
He did, and then he told the whole story. It was awful. And Al Roker was invited back with the Oyster bunnies and Joe Biden, and he asked him questions and got really bizarre answers about living in the White House. Keep in mind, Joe Biden doesn't know how many grandchildren he has. He always gives a different number, and it's always wrong. He often forgets how many children he has. He doesn't know. It's complicated. Al Roker and Joe Biden today.
So here we are. You're in what's probably your final campaign, and and people are like saying, "Well, I don't know. I'm not so crazy about whatever I've got." What's your message to people?
You're probably in your last campaign, unless you're Vladimir Putin. Yeah, he's in his last campaign. I guess he could lose this time and then run again 4 years from now for president when he's 106. That's possible. You're probably in your last campaign, says Al Roker. And the White House garbage can staff still wants to have a conversation with him.
I just think people are so tired of the negativity that is propagated that they just want to get engaged. They want to change things. And I'm optimistic. I really am.
He's optimistic. He really is. That's amazing. Barack Obama said that Joe Biden really cares. He really cares. Now, let's stay with Al Roker because he'll say, hey, what's the best part about being in the White House? Is it sniffing children and you don't know how many grandchildren you have? Is that the best part?
And as far as, your memories of this house,
memories?
I don't know what the future holds, but what are your favorite memories about this place?
The future
our
holds.
Kids jumping in bed with us, our grandkids when they're down here. Just sneaking up and jumping in bed with us. That's my favorite
kids.
memory here. They love it.
He literally doesn't know how many grandchildren he has. His kids jumping in bed. He thinks Hunter is jumping in bed with him at the age of 52 or whatever he is. And really, Al, your opening question is about his memories, knowing that he's suffering from onset dementia. You can't say it's early onset dementia because, it's much too late for early onset.
How was Easter for you guys?
Great. We spent it up in Camp David. As a whole family, my dad used to say families are beginning, middle, and end. We had them all up there. We went to Mass on Saturday, and we had a great Easter egg hunt. We actually take these plastic eggs and put some dollars in them.
Oh, nice.
Cash. We're still missing one.
You mean your grandkids are stealing already? They put money in the non-religious Easter, and he doesn't. Al Roker doesn't ask him about transgender Easter Sunday because that wouldn't be helpful on the Today Show. And wait, you go up to Camp David and you have an Easter egg hunt there, and you put dollars in there. And does big guy get 10%? Do the grandkids know to fork over 10% to Grandpa because he's the big guy? And you got the Easter egg hunt, and you really you had a church service there at Camp David. Did you dress like ladies and the men dress the whatever, the Democrats, and you put dollars in there? And see, the thing is, the eggs, they don't have any religious symbols on them because those have been banned on Easter at the Biden White House. But the Easter eggs with money in them have maps of Ukraine and China and Russia and Kazakhstan and, and then Hamas. They've got Hamas eggs there too, I think. Just amazing. Your Democrat Party.
I got 4 kids, 5 grandkids. Come on. I'm an expert.
Yeah, he's got 6 grandkids and 3 kids, and he doesn't know either one of those, and he does that again and again. All right, let's take a phone call. We haven't gone to a phone call because I've been going on and on here, haven't I? Let's go to Teresa. Well, actually, I apologize. Let's go, because I was looking at this other thing. Let's go to Richard in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Richard, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning. Good morning. Nice to talk to you, Chris.
Welcome.
Yesterday, Christmas, Easter service at St. Peter's Roman Catholic Church in historic Harpers Ferry.
Uh-huh.
During the service, somebody went through the parking lot and scattered Holy Communion wafers all in front of everyone's driver's doors, went down the road leading out, did all the cars during the service, and there's a police report with the Harpers Ferry with the park rangers, and they're doing an investigation. I just finally got through the newspaper. The local newspaper here is the Martinsburg Journal. I just got through to someone there, and they're working on the story now.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up, Richard, because you're not alone. Here is a headline from Fox News: trailer of Bibles intentionally set on fire in front of Tennessee church on Easter Sunday. Police are looking for Democrats. Since the Supreme Court decision on abortion was leaked by a Democrat to a member of the news media, there have been more than 300 attacks on Catholic churches. Al Roker didn't bring this up with the fake Catholic Joe Biden. But the fire at a church intentionally set on fire on Easter Sunday. The fire reported in front of Global Vision Bible Church in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. And, of course, at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City yesterday, Democrats attacked the altar there during the church service at St. Patrick's Cathedral. And they created a distraction by a bunch of people singing off to the side, some random stuff, probably about Satan, who they actually worship and go to after-school Satan club at schools that the Democrats set up. And they attacked the altar with their environmental banner. And as they're being dragged out of St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York, they're screaming, "Free, free Palestine." They're freeing. So, Richard, you're not alone. You're in good company. The Democrats attacked. Literally 300 Catholic churches have been attacked since a Democrat woman who I believe to be a clerk for Sonia Sotomayor leaked the Supreme Court decision that led to a would-be assassin showing up at Brett Kavanaugh's home with a gun, extra magazines, kidnapping tools, burglary tools, Democrat. And the trailer of Bibles set on fire. You got to see it. They were going to hand out the Bibles. It's Easter Sunday. But Democrats came along and doused them in gasoline or some equivalent and set all the Bibles on fire because Democrats are not on our side. And Richard St. Peter's there in beautiful Harpers Ferry. I guess they have Democrats there. We got to, as long as we have Democrats, we're going to have arson and mob violence and attacking churches and Transgender Day on Easter Day, because the Democrat Party is here to fundamentally transform the United States of America until it's unrecognizable. Just extraordinary. Richard, I'm glad you called in for that. Thank you. Yeah, so the open of Saturday Night Live last night, Saturday night, attacked Easter, attacked Christians, mocked Christians, and Easter mocked Donald Trump. And then they brought out a guy who's supposed to be a comedian named Rami Youssef. Rami Youssef, since it was Holy Saturday and Easter Sunday was ready to, scheduled to start in a matter of minutes, he decided to go after Americans as racists and say that Islam is the best religion and the Prophet Muhammad is the best prophet.
So I live in New York. We're in this bubble. And we think like everything we disagree with is in the South. But I don't believe in the South. There is no South. Like, the South is 45 minutes away from wherever you are. I had a show in upstate New York. I was walking through the neighborhood. There's all this Trump stuff, flags, red hats. I was like, yo, I went north, but I'm south.
He doesn't like America or Americans. He's Rami Youssef. He complained that it's not good to speak Arabic around people because everybody's such a racist.
And I could feel it, I could feel the fear when my mom called me. I didn't want to speak Arabic. She was like, Salam alaikum, habibi. And I was like, Mother, peace be upon you. Like, and the prophet, you know which prophet. The best one, the last one.
The best one, the last one, that's Prophet Muhammad. And and that's Saturday Night Live on their Easter Saturday show. By the way, a Texas judge has ordered the release of all the illegal aliens that attacked the National Guard at the border of Texas there. They'll all be released on their own recognizance today, because why would that be a problem? Pretty amazing stuff. And it's just amazing. In Boston on Friday, they rounded up 5 illegal aliens. ICE did, that the Democrats want to ban. And 4 of them were serial child rapists that had been released back into the public by the Democrats there.